Hey guys, my name is Batimio, and today we're going to be looking at the Demolitions class in Medal of Honor Warfighter, or as I like to call it, the Demo Man. It's got a lot of unique characteristics compared to the other classes in the game. Some things I like, some things I don't like, but basically this is going to be a review/overview of the Demolitions. So first off, they use submachine guns, which do really well at medium to close range engagements, mainly close range. They have a high rate of fire, and their damage is pretty solid at close range. But the further and further the target goes out, the harder it's going to be for you to take them out. I mean, don't even try to go for a long-range target with the Demo Man. The weapons just have way too much bullet spread. There's a lot of recoil on them as well, and the bullet damage doesn't even seem to be that high as well when you're actually able to line up a couple of shots. So you're really going to want to play the Demo Man up close and personal. You're not going to want to get into kind of long quarter fights with an assaulter because they're going to win pretty much every single time. One challenging aspect, though, of the Demolition class is that it's the slowest one in the game, and this can lead to some problems, especially since you're only using submachine guns. Normally, when you think of a class who's using, submachine guns, you'd think of them to be more agile. They're going to have a lot of mobility so that they can close the distance on their enemy and get up close and personal so that they can use the weapon efficiently. But that's not the case for the Demolition. You're going to be extremely slow, and I found that more often than not, every time I tried to close the distance on my target, or I just try to duck from cover to cover, I left myself vulnerable out in the open, and I had no way of defending myself, and when I died a lot in those circumstances. So if you were expecting a class that's going to have a lot of mobility, or going to be able to just kind of rambo around the map, you are in for a rude awakening, because you can clearly not do that with the Demolition class. And this is further reinforced by the Demo Man's special ability, which is called Ballistic Armor. If you're not aware of what ballistic armor is, it's basically your soldier will bring down his helmet, which kind of obstructs your vision a little bit, but then it also gives you basically another health bar. So people are going to have to shoot through that armor. It basically breaks up your helmet, and then they have to shoot through your normal health pool until you die. So which is awesome. It basically makes the Demo Man kind of a Juggernaut when you have that ability up. But on the flip side, it obstructs your vision, and then it also makes it so you can't sprint. So it even further reduces your mobility. So if you're looking for a class that's going to be able to run around, very quickly, you're going to be able to play that Rambo role, the Demo Man is clearly not the class for you. That being said, though, if you do like to play a little bit more passively or defensively when you do play a first-person shooter, then the Demo Man might be the perfect class for you. As I mentioned before, the special ability on this class is fantastic. It basically gives you another health bar that the enemy team is going to have to punch through. Granted, once it's gone, and the only way for you to get it back is to use one of the support action abilities, or to, of course, die and respawn. But if you use it efficiently and effectively, it's an amazing class ability. There are a lot of times in Medal of Honor Warfighter when you're playing objective game modes where your team will have a very hard time trying to push towards the objective. There is a lot of long quarters, there's a lot of choke points in this game, and one of the ways to avoid that and push past that is to use the Demo Man. The Demo Man, because it has more armor, if a couple of your teammates will switch to them, it could mean the difference between your team pushing up towards that objective because the enemy team just isn't expecting that much armor from their enemies, and so they get caught off guard and you're able to take them out. So like I said, if you're looking for a class that does very well at kind of playing that more defensive role, then the Demo Man is fantastic for that type of play style. I should probably also mention this class also has a unique ability which allows you to arm and disarm bombs faster than any other class out there. It's not by a lot by any means, so it's not like you're going to be able to instantaneously arm or disarm something, but it does give you an advantage. If you are able to actually push up onto an objective, even though you are so slow, it could catch the enemy team by surprise, and in some circumstances it was the difference between my team winning and losing, so it's definitely a nice aspect for the Demolitions class. As for their support action abilities, or kill streaks, really whatever you want to call them, I think they're one of the cooler ones in the game. The first offensive one you unlock is called the M320, and it's basically just a gigantic grenade launcher. It's great for taking out people that are around corners, or even if you can line up a shot directly, it will take them out very quickly as well. It kind of goes along the same lines, once again, where if you're having a hard time pushing up towards an objective because they are, the enemy team team is just camping down and they're locking down corridors and long hallways, the M32 is a great way at kind of dispersing them and allowing your team to push up. This is once again reinforced by the second offensive unlock, which is the SMAW. It's great at taking out those support choppers that come around every once in a while, but this one has a huge blast radius. If you see a couple people in a building, just fire this at the top of the roof, or at the top of the ceiling, I mean, and you're gonna get the kills. It's got a huge blast radius, and once again allowing your team to take care of those campers and push up towards objectives. As for the final one, it's called the MUSA robot. I really wasn't all that impressed by it. It's basically a very slow and clumsy robot that you can kind of control around the map. It does have little machine guns that you can use, and it can kill enemies fairly quickly, but I just found that it was because it was just so slow and cumbersome that it really wasn't all that effective, and I would mainly just use the support action ability when I did get that unlock. I mean, if you do want to use it, and once again, if your team is having a hard time pushing down a long corridor, you can go prone, activate this bad boy, and then kind of try to push up down the long corridor, take people out if you can, or use it as a distraction to allow your team to take out those targets that are firing at this gigantic robot heading towards them. So in some circumstances, I can see where it could be useful, but more often than not, I would just use the defensive support chain. I should probably also mention that the second defensive support chain, the resupply one, is great for this class. It's going to resupply your ballistic armor, which is great because it's going to give you, another layer of armor, which is awesome. And as I said before, because you only get one per life, that's a big deal. It also resupplies, of course, your ammo, your health, and also your grenades. So that's a good aspect of it. But overall, the Demolitions class in Medal of Honor Warfighter is one of the more interesting roles on the battlefield. On the one hand, because you are so slow and cumbersome, and because you are using SMGs, it can be a little frustrating for you to feel effective and to get into situations where you can actually take advantage of its firepower. But on the other hand, if you are able to get onto objectives, you can arm and disarm them faster than anyone else out there. You have an amazing ability that essentially makes you a Juggernaut, and the support action abilities, or at least the offensive ones, are fantastic at getting rid of campers. So if you like to play a more defensive and passive role, kind of a little bit more slow-paced, the Demo Man is probably right up your alley. But yeah, guys, that's my review / overview of the Demolitions class in Medal of Honor Warfighter. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more. But until next time, guys, have a good one, and take it easy.